Half-ahsterpiece Theatre. I'm Alistair T. The year of our Lord 2023 is at its end. 12 months have passed in brisk fashion. One blinks and one misses, oh, so very much. But one need not forget the days of 23. Join us as we step down the path that is memory lane to relive the memories, the antics, the tomfoolery, the absurdity, the lunacy, the madness, the foolishness, the craziness, the ridiculousness, the silliness, the shenanigans, the irresponsibility, the audacity, the downright asininity of 2023 here at T's Good Times Garage. Enjoy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am T. I'm your host. I'm hanging out in my garage. It's that time of the year in Utah where it's cold. We've managed to warm the garage up to about 50 degrees. But guess what else is happening? The end of the year. The end of another freaking year. The years are flying by, and 23 was no exception. 2023 was pretty amazing, if I don't say so myself. And I've got my my holiday beard going on. Got my warm jacket. I do need to figure out some more permanent heating solutions. We've done a lot of things that I consider fun, and I'm really excited about the direction of the channel moving forward. But the purpose of this video is to take a look back. I want to see what have we accomplished this year. We've definitely had some fun, but we've got a lot of work to do. And we want to do a lot of things, accomplish a lot of things in 2024. Our project list is long and distinguished. The list might not get shorter, but I'm hoping to get a lot of things done. You know kind of where we're headed with some things if you've been watching the channel for a minute. But now, let's take a look back at 2023. I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I don't want to keep it all up here, at least as far as my outline. So I do have notes. I'm going to consult the notes from time to time. Hopefully that's not a problem for you. Let's get started. 2023 began with a lot of organizing, working on things in the shop. This bench behind me was one of those first things in 2023 that I accomplished. Built myself a workbench. And since then, we've added a few things, some pegboard to organize, a little bit of shelf action above. Brought some fun things to display, my racing trophies, my trinkets, little automobilia to kind of bring the ambiance into the garage, right? I'm not trying to use big words that I don't know the meaning of here, but I wanted to make the garage feel not like just a place to go do stuff, to work on cars and whatnot, but I wanted it to be kind of a cool place too. You walk out, you see some stuff, hey, that's cool. Oh, hey, that's cool, right on. Garage improvements, definitely still on the list, always on the list. And hopefully we'll bring you along with some of those. Hopefully you'll get to see a significant amount of garage progress over the course of 2024. During the cold months, of course, we don't have anywhere to race. We don't travel too much during the winter time, really, as far as racing goes. But so what do we do during that time when we've got no racing? Well, we work on my 1966 Plymouth Valiant. And right now, the bulk of that work, rust removal, trying to get that car set up to start doing a little bit of chassis work, some subframe connectors, a roll cage. I have high hopes and big aspirations for that car. As we move towards spring, the race car lived in the race trailer last year, and the Charger was in the garage, not running. And so part of my issue was I needed to get the Charger running and bring the Dart back in. The year prior, Charger decided that it just didn't want to run. The Charger had a massive vacuum leak. So at that point, it was switcheroo time. The Dart came out of the trailer. The Charger went into the trailer. We had a high gear issue. We needed to dig into the transmission to find out exactly what happened. And if you recall, we drained the fluid, pulled the pan, and it was a disaster.
That's a lot of material. That's bad news.
And I learned how to rebuild a 727.
We've got our good buddy, the snap ring.
I've been inside them, I've taken them apart, but I've never fully done a transmission rebuild before that. Lots of YouTube videos, books, anything I could find on it, and I did my own transmission build.
The assembled torque flight's going to hang out here, make it a little easier for me to start putting some parts and pieces on.
As you recall, we did have a short time to get the transmission and subsequently the Dart ready for our first race of the spring, Matt's, also known as Muscle Cars at the Strip, and we got the transmission in the weekend prior to Matt's. And maybe 2 days before I was wanting to leave for the event, finally was able to do a road test. Took it over to an undisclosed parking lot in Mexico. Was able to test the function, the shifting, did a burnout in said parking lot, and decided, yep, it's doing transmission things. That's good, we're going. So a day or so later, we were loaded up, ready for Matt's. With the Dart going to Matt's, we had also made arrangements to take a second vehicle.
Our new dancing shoes. Well, the rears are new. The fronts are my backups. They've been on that car before. They're back on it again.
And that would be my 1968 Dodge Charger. We'd got it running, sounded good, did great burnouts. My boy Riley wanted to run it really bad, and I wanted him to. It was time to get him some seat time. But the Dart developed an electrical problem. Fuel pump decided it was just done. And that pretty much happened. Me pulling out from under the arch, got into the burnout box, was about ready to do my burnout. And that was pretty much the last time the car was going to start. Fuel pump, no work either. We got towed back to the pits, I started digging in. And what I found out was not a dead fuel pump, but rather a short, a break, somewhere in the wiring, no electricity was flowing through. So I ran a new wire, threw a new switch in, basically directly off of battery power at that point, just trying to get it so I could run the car. It worked out. The car ran famously. The transmission continued to do transmission things, shifting all forward gears and reverse. We ended up going a couple of rounds, I think 3 rounds in a bonus race, 3 rounds in the main. Not a bad event. The Charger, not quite the same event for the Charger. She ran really good the first few passes, but also developed some sort of an issue. In this case, she just became really hard to start, and at some point wouldn't at all. I think we hydrolocked the motor, we decided to bag it. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to work. Riley wasn't going to be able to finish the event in the car. He did run his truck in the main event. I think still had a blast. He's got more seat time coming. We're going to make sure of that. Oh no! Take it, Riley! Oh no! You got caught! You got caught! Ah! What we found out with the Charger aftermaths, well, she started knocking rods. And as we just recently found out, there was a monster rod knock, a rod bearing nearly wiped completely out. We'll fix it. Just unsure at this point of what direction we'll take with that. Could build a stroker with it. I do have another good, fresh forged crank, a spare set of rods. We may be able to save those pistons. I don't know. The Dart aftermaths, we decided we're going to fix that wiring. So I ordered up a painless wiring kit, just one of their race harnesses and a switch panel. Went through and completely rewired the car, changed the switch panel, all that stuff. Now, we have a line lock. All systems are go as far as the electrical goes. I was not wanting to deal with more electrical issues, so figured start from fresh, and it's been really fantastic since. We put ourselves on a little bit of a deadline though. I had an event coming up that I really wanted to race. It was a new track, a place called Vernal. They were doing a noprep race. I'd watched a bunch of noprep on TV, never been to a noprep race in person, unless you count the unsanctioned stuff. I want to do this, but we got to get this wiring done first. We got it done, made the event. The track was a little green, the track was a little rough, but we ended up taking home some hardware. We won an index class, 735 index, but the car was getting down, jamming, spinning a little bit, you know, bouncing all over the track, doing things that it doesn't normally do. But we won, and the Dart took home its first hardware, and me, it had been a while. We used to have a track in Salt Lake City, Rocky Mountain Raceways. The facility was sold in favor of Progress. Thanks to all those who thought that was a great idea. Now we have no track. But this track in Vernal is about 3 hours away. That's kind of our number. 2 to 3 hours travel time is what we're looking at to go racing anywhere. The sad part about this sob story here is that I did not race from early May until probably the second week of September. Depressing. Shed a little tear. So what do we do to fill that time? Car shows. Other engine projects, the Moho Motivator 440. The Moho Motivator, you recall, refused to motivate. Found out the hard way that it did have some wiped out lifters. We asked the question, can it do engine things? For the most part, the answer was, not really. It'd start. Probably should have dug deeper when it was making noises that it shouldn't have on the engine run stand. We introduced the piggy bank horsepower build off with a bunch of other YouTubers. We're building a 383, hopefully to put into my kid's Duster. A big block 383 Chrysler base that we will hopefully be finishing before too long. We've got to get back to that. And towards the end of the summer, we finally committed. We had the subscribers. We wanted to do it. we announced our intent to participate in the No Name Nationals. Art and I are going to be there with our A game, our game face, and hopefully plenty of fuel.
We've been bracket racing a long time, and since its inception, the No Name Nationals has been on my bucket list. And we're coming. You tell them I'm coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to be there. We had about 4 weeks, I think, from announcement to the actual No Name Nationals, so we needed to get the dart ready, make sure everything was good. But we hadn't raced since May. The car had pretty much sat dormant, so we had a lot of things to check. And I wanted to do a little racing before we made it all the way out to Missouri. It was going to be a long drive to go racing and not have any recent seat time or feel comfortable at that point in the performance of the car after sitting for a few months. So another one of those 2 to 3 hour tracks, Idaho Falls area Sage Raceway. We went up there for another noprep. It was a 7 flat index. My second noprep event. I was humbled extremely. Lost a first rounder. Everything seemed to be copacetic. I felt good. We were ready to go. We got things ready over the next few weeks. Dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. 1,500 miles-ish to Sikeston, Missouri from my home in Utah.
We gonna do what they say can be done.
Our epic adventure in Dodge City, Kansas.
So in case you're wondering where the heck we are, this is Dodge City, Kansas.
Here's the boy.
What's up, Doc? He's reaching for his pistol there, dude. Are you gonna take it out of his hand?
Shaking his hand.
Why, Ike? Whatever do you mean? All right, Doc, sorry we couldn't meet you during the day. Looks like somebody's in deep trouble.
So we ventured on. So we pulled into Sikeston, got to Jeffers Motorsports Park. We got pitted, we got our camp set up, we got teched.
Oh, I think we're here, dudes. We're gonna go, I think, pit. Figure that out.
Went to dinner that evening with Just Mopar Joe.
Fancy meeting you here.
Me and you and
Terry Jr.?
All you guys know because you already watch his channel. Awesome dude. Got some rolls loosely throwed at us. Not quite as throwed as I was expecting based on the good word before. But that's okay, maybe next time. But Friday, the adventure really got underway. One of the things that has become tradition, lined all the participants down the entire length of the track pretty much for a big group photo. After the picture, we went back to the pits, got the car ready officially. We were aired up, we were fueled up, just chomping at that bit for those staging lanes to open. And if I remember correctly, we took 3 time hits. Probably could have had more. Get up there, make your runs, get up there, make your runs. I'm so used to getting 1, sometimes 2. We would have lived with that, but we didn't have to. So we opted for that 3rd for a little repeatability. 689, 690, 688, 689, I can't remember exactly what the last one was, but they were all right there. Car was hooking hard, getting down, hauling the mail, and then it came time for eliminations. It was a 6-rounder, but as you know from watching the channel, I had the absolute time of my life. Riley had a great time. We ended up winning somehow. We ended up winning the bracket race at the No Name Nationals. And man,
Oklahoma taking on the dragcar.
tight all the way down to the stripe. I had some tree advantage. I was able to catch him and just gave it a womp womp, you know, to ensure I didn't break out. Got to the stripe first, and somehow, T and the Dart were able to win the bracket race at the No Name Nationals. Got home and put the car away. For just under 2 weeks, we had our season finale. Mrs. T was going to go. Minnie T was going to be there. My boy Riley, his girlfriend, we were all going to go. Minnie T, my little guy, had some health issues. Luckily turned out to be nothing serious in the long term. But Mrs. T said you should still go. Mrs. T is amazing. I got to pause for a second in the Idaho story though. Mrs. T didn't get to go to Sikeston with us either. She stayed back and took care of things. And so Riley was the only representation from the family that came out. A little thanks to 6% Recycled. Go check out his channel. He was live streaming the bracket race. Mrs. T got to see it. She got to watch. She was commenting. She was having a blast. Shortly after the final round had completed, I was talking with a couple of fellows. 6% Recycled was over there as well. And he was still live streaming at that point. And Mrs. T was commenting. She said, "Tell T I said hi." And I was having a tough time hearing. No excuses, right? But I missed that completely. And I feel like such an idiot. Mrs. T was saying, you know, woohoo, all that fun stuff right there in front of me through a live stream. And I could not comprehend. I couldn't hear well enough to know what was going on, so she told me about that after the fact. Mrs. T, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But thanks again, 6% Recycled. And everybody else that participated in that event. Man, I probably at this point watched hours of footage of other channels. We're back to Idaho. We loaded up. We went. And roll. And it was a struggle, and T just could not seem to get off the struggle bus. But for maybe one pass here, one pass there. We fought some traction issues. At that point, I wasn't really sure what was going on, why I was doing it. I was trying to make shock adjustments, tire pressure adjustments. We were taking some launch out of it to try not to hit it so hard. And, you know, we still managed to go 2 or 3 rounds. I think it was 3 rounds in the main. The bonus races, not quite so well. A first rounder, I think a second rounder, and then 3 in the main. So I guess that's progress, that you can look at it that way. We had a great season to that point. I was just hoping to end it on another positive note. I've never won at Firebird. Been there a bazillion times. I've been there a lot. 2024, we're shooting for that first Firebird hardware. I want it. I need it. That's what we're aiming for. We don't know exactly yet what's going to happen with 2024 as far as the drag racing goes. The Dart needs some help. What events are we going to go to? Probably shooting first for Matt's in Vegas. We like that one on our schedule every year. I'd love to get to Firebird more than once this coming year. I'd love to get down to Vegas more. I've been wanting to go down there and run their Summit ET series, get back into a point series again. I haven't had that opportunity since 2018 when Rocky Mountain Raceway shut down. If I can find some index racing again on the noprep, I think we're really going to shoot for that as well. And we'll see what else. If something comes up and I can swing it, we're going to do it. We're going to get out there and race the wheels off this car. Hopefully hang out with some of you guys again. Some of my good buddies on the YouTube. The old rod knocker 440, we got that tore apart to find out exactly what went wrong. I got to spend some time with a former drag car of mine, my previous race car, a 1971 Plymouth Duster. Beautiful car, love that car still to this day. Guy that owns it now is a really cool dude, known him for a long time. But the future looks to be bright. We've set some goals, we've got some aspirations. The piggy bank horsepower build, we need to get that done. The free 83, as we call it,
hopefully going in Riley's Duster. Also, what are we gonna do with the Rod Knocker 440? What's the Dart gonna get as far as improvements and upgrades? She needs a few things. We've got my other cars that I'm hoping to do more, the 66 Valiant, the 72 Duster that you've never officially been introduced to. We've got Moho Nixon, the small block 360 powered 71 Dodge motorhome that will probably not be a motorhome in the future. And I've got some other projects. Working on some details to finalize those. And as soon as these new projects come into view, we'll definitely introduce you, take you along in between family time and the day job, which are important, especially the family time. Family's what really makes it worth it, guys. And you guys, I do consider part of my extended family as well. I appreciate you watching. It means a lot to me. I'm gonna do this stuff as long as I'm having fun. We'll continue to make videos. We'll continue to share those videos with the world. And we'll just see how much fun we can have with all of it. We'll see how much progress we can make. I want to wish every one of you a very, very happy and prosperous 2024. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes here and there with me and with my projects. Don't forget to hit that like button. Feel free to share. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. If you are, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's have an amazing 2024. Get out there and work on that project. Stay happy, stay safe. Let's not get too cliche here, but 2024 has the potential to be something amazing. Let's go out there and make it happen, guys. And we'll see you next year. See you on the next one.